and welcome to the Labcast by Maruti Techlabs. In this series, we talk to engineering leaders and get to know actionable insights that help you take your development practices to the next level. I'm Bikshita, Senior Marketing Executive at Maruti Techlabs, and today we'll be discussing something that can be regarded as the guiding principle of software development these days. Yes, I'm talking about the Agile philosophy and its implementation. This week, I'm joined by Mitul Makadia, the CEO of Maruti Techlabs. Hi, Mitul. Glad to have you on the podcast.
Hi, Bikshita. Thanks for having me here.
Please tell us something about your journey till here. When did you decide to become the CEO of the company, or was it something that happened? And what roles did you play before this?
Sure. So let me start from my education. So after passing out from my bachelor's of engineering, I worked for a company for a few years, and that's where I started realizing the true value of software. So I started as a software engineer and then became a little more senior software developer. And then later on, when I left the job, I was leading a team of 10 people as a project champion. So throughout this journey, I have witnessed multiple roles, and then I was more responsible towards delivery. After that, I realized that I need to still do more. So I ended up leaving that job and started Maruti Techlabs. When I started the company, we were pretty much more like individual developer getting projects which are pretty small. And then throughout this journey, we kept on adding more and more projects by delivering successful results to the customer. So thankfully, so far, like right now, we are a strong team of around 130 people.
Right from writing for the project to negotiating deadlines to leading the entire team, you have done it all. So it is only apt that you are our guest today to discuss how we can use Agile to refine the way we work and have better outcomes. Before we dive in what does a day in the life as the CEO of Maruti Techlabs look like?
Well, my all of the days are like pretty much very vaguely defined. It fumbles between marketing, business development, but as on date also, I still focus pretty much on software delivery. So I am very keen on improving our delivery processes and always keep an eye on how we are doing the things for the customer projects. So yeah, still pretty much I am focused around how to improve the customer satisfaction through better delivery.
Great. So, Mitul, we are going to discuss how you and the engineering team at Maruti Techlabs have implemented Agile philosophy and made iterations over time to best serve our customers. Now, as you mentioned earlier, you started the company working with our first client more than a decade back. And Agile was not the North Star of software development practices back then as it is today. There was not as much awareness earlier. Now, I'm curious to know what principles were you following in software development before we moved to Agile?
Back in those days, we were using waterfall. I mean, that was more like a standard approach where we used to plan the entire product in just one shot, and then we deliver them in one shot. So basically, planning and execution were completely separate, and there were no iterations. And at that time, most of the software were like pretty much small in the scope and used for non-core systems. But with the SaaS approach coming in more mainstream, we need fast delivery. And that's how we also learned a newer approach. So we started with another approach called Kanban, where we were just quickly delivering the stuff as soon as it is ready. But again, that was causing some problem for marketing and support staff because they were not knowing what's coming in their way. And often they got surprised that, hey, we did not know that what was launched. So this brought us to a point where we needed more, incremental as well as more planned approach, and that's how we settled with Agile, where we are having enough little bit of planning in place before we actually work on things, but at the same time incrementally deliver the things without causing the product owner to be waiting for when things will go out. So basically, using Agile, we achieved the right balance of delivery as well as planning.
That's interesting. What were some of the things you improved over time in the course of implementing Agile?
So before Agile, like we were focusing on very large teams. So pretty much like huge team will keep working on a project. Then we learned the concept of pizza size team. So we started focusing on building small teams. We were having sprint duration of 3 weeks or 4 weeks. And then later on, we found that, hey, we need a true incremental delivery. So we settled with a couple of weeks of sprint. Those time, like again, tool sets were not that mature. So the communication is a fundamental thing in Agile, and it was not done that well. But over the time, we improved and we started using a better tools. Uh, Even the prioritization was a larger issue where we were doing things, as someone wishes instead of like giving a proper ranking to the backlog. But as we grew, we realized that we need more predictable things, and we need to push more organized way of delivery. So yeah, we fixed all this problem using Agile.
You mentioned splitting bigger teams into smaller pizza sized teams. Can you expand on that? What were the benefits that you personally experienced while doing that?
Sure. So with larger team, the large problem is about ownership and specialization. As the technology became more mainstream, you need more specialization to deliver faster, and you need to have a very proper ownership of it. So, in order to have a predictable, high quality delivery, you need to follow the rule of divide and conquer. So, we started dividing our team, we started encouraging expertise and in depth knowledge, and divided features into uh, teams which are like feature focused instead of like entire product focused. So that way we were structuring teams based on like one key focus. It could be either technology, like let's say DevOps focuses on making other teams to release faster, while if there is a team which is just focusing on e-commerce seller experience, then they will just always improve the seller's experience. They don't care about other features like how do we handle logistic, how do we handle the buyer's experience. So basically, giving a very small focus helped our engineers to deliver a lot better, faster, without burning them. So every team was working together, but ideally they have a focus, and then they kept on working on improving that particular focus. So basically, we were having multiple teams which are running like assembly line. Like each assembly line is delivering a set of products, and we had multiple assembly lines. So that kept on delivering faster products.
That's a splendid way to draw parallel between having multiple teams doing their own thing, and exactly that is exactly how assembly lines work, right? What steps did you take into consideration to ensure operational efficiency in what the teams do? Because I think when you are implementing Agile, then it is very easy for teams to get sucked into too much of planning. So it turns into over planning very easily. So, what steps were taken to ensure operational efficiency?
So all the business want fast delivery, but nobody wants to have a defective product to be shipped. So to achieve the right balance, we divided releases into the smaller chunks. So we would plan very less instead of a mega feature and then deliver it. So product can be tested in the market and then incrementally we can improve it. So Agile helped us to improve the planning and make that incremental release more efficient. And we don't build something that cannot be measured. So the reason is like the cost of building is very high. So build only that is necessary. Uh, I remember like one of the point raised by I think one of the Google X VC that build a feature only when customer says I'll stop using this feature if you don't deliver by so and so date. Before build just before 1 day before when they stop using that feature. So we are trying to defer the building part, and then that way we are taking less in our plate and deliver whatever we are building with a greater quality. In this process, we made our product owner and Scrum Master more responsible to explain the feature, to improve the prioritization. We even focused on what happens after we deliver the feature, that how it is getting the adoption and the engagement, capture all this data so we can improve the subsequent feature planning instead of like we go blindly, just keep shipping. Because we have seen that not all features we build are used in the way we want. So it's better to track how it is being used and then improve based on the customer feedback instead of like do a huge planning and then you have like tons of feature in the production which are never touched by even a single customer.
Now, in the same analogy that you used previously, how do you ensure that the team is working efficiently like an assembly line does? But at the same time, their individual learnings are being taken care of.
So every person working in the Scrum team needs to keep improve their skill, and to do that, we balance out operational efficiency along with individuals' learning. He defined learning programs that were held at a frequent intervals, where, let's say, if there was a technical concept we are introducing, then our architects would conduct a structured training where all the Scrum team participants would be there and understand that. And here, Scrum Master would play a key role. They would try to identify that who needs what kind of training, and then they suggest accordingly to them. Even we used to conduct a functional training where a most experienced person of the team would give the functional overview of the team, a product, and explain that how this product works from the business standpoint. So yeah, you need to keep coaching and training your Scrum members to make sure that they keep delivering flawless.
Speaking of Scrum Masters, their role is crucial as they are the ones chasing deadlines, leading the team to the goals. What skills do you think makes a good Scrum Master?
So a Scrum Master should have very good interpersonal skills. He should be able to connect with team members. He should be able to understand even their personal situations. If they are like not able to perform, dig deeper and then make sure that what we can do to fix it. Even in situations where there is a huge demand of like product features, uh, Scrum Master should prevent their people from burning out and keep the team morale really high so the team can consistently deliver. I have seen many occasions where Scrum teams starts really aggressively, but after a few months they start losing the steam. So a Scrum Master's job is to make sure that they prevent this kind of failures. And to do this, Scrum Master needs to be really realistic in making sure that they have a good eye on the team. To do that, even they can focus on dividing the work into smaller pieces where somehow they can create a feeling of accomplishment within the team. Oftentimes, we have seen that Scrum team keeps working on a larger goal, and even after doing sprints and sprints, they feel that they don't have a feeling of accomplishment. So it's a Scrum Master's job to make sure they define the proper milestones, and then once the team hits the milestone, it's done with a little bit of celebration, and feeling of accomplishment will push the confidence of the team members so they can deliver the next set of features. On certain occasions, they can put up a first sprint where which has a lower workload, and then team member has a chance to recover from a higher workload in case they are burning out. So these are the few things I have practically tried out.
I really like the way you have emphasized on how the team feels about the project and their priorities. So I think that's a great thing for a Scrum Master to practice. Now, these are the things that the Scrum Master should do in order to do their job successfully. What is something that the Scrum Master should avoid doing in order to become a good Scrum Master?
First of all, Scrum Master should develop a good trust with team, and they should not measure Scrum team by just story points. Instead, they should clarify that what is counted as a productivity and what is counted as activity. So they should boost more for the productivity. Being busy or attending meetings is not something like makes you productive. What is the real customer value that is delivered via features? That's called, the real business value, and you should motivate people in the Scrum team to deliver the true value. So, in short, like Scrum Master should make people more thinking as a business and think as if if it was like their business, whatever they're writing, how much difference that would create in terms of end users experience, instead of looking at the things as if you're writing a code. No, you're writing a feature, and to develop feature, you need to code. So they should be able to do a proper connection between the technical activity and the actual outcome that is delivered through their technical activity.
Yes, those are some excellent points right there. How does the Scrum Master ensure that everyone on their team is on the same page?
To keep everyone on the same page, regardless of agile or anything, you need to have greater communication tools. And same thing applies to agile also. So you need tools like Google Meet, Zoom, Slack, Microsoft Teams that can help you to improve the collaboration. And even I feel Scrum Masters should make the timings of the Scrum such that it's more accommodating to all the team members, and try to rely on the tools where if certain people are working a little more asynchronously, they can drop their messages and updates using those tools, so they don't need to be always available for real-time communication. Of course, I still encourage the real-time communication, but there should be enough set of tools available where people can drop the messages. And Scrum Master should always do in-person meetings to establish empathy, trust, and make sure that they are building this thing through personal meetings. Often I have seen where there are backlog growing meetings, sprint planning meetings are done in a very poor way. So a Scrum Master can really influence here by driving those meetings to the agenda using sophisticated tools so that all the meetings are very productive and very focused, and there is a strong outcome of every meeting. We have observed that when you conduct long meetings, people get frustrated. So Scrum Masters should try to keep the meeting duration minimal, such that they keep the interest of all the Scrum team members maintained. Even FSR questions cause this problem when we are doing remote meetings. So tools like Trello with a checklist can really help, where you have clear-cut set of questions defined and you just iterate over questions. So all these things, if a good Scrum Master jumps in, he can easily do and make sure that their team doesn't suffer from this. Even preparing the release note, preparing the sprint goals, these all tasks are like pretty easy, but it can make everyone on the same page about what's releasing or what's our goal as a sprint. So Scrum Master can easily do all these things using sophisticated tools like Jira, Confluence, Trello, and make team really updated about where we are and where we are heading.
Yes, I would definitely like to reiterate on the meeting part that we should decide the agenda and then meet, and not meet and then decide the agenda. So, as always, collaboration and communication are the key factors to making Agile a success.
That's exactly correct.
All right. That was an insightful discussion about the company's practical experience in implementing and scaling Agile. We talked about the challenges we face, the benefits of implementing Agile, the skills that a Scrum Master should have to make Agile a success, and how you should focus on productivity and not activity, and a lot more. Thank you so much, Mitul, for sharing your personal experience in building a successful product development team. There are indeed a lot of topics that we have not yet covered, and I think we'll need to do another one of these sessions to cover the rest.
Thank you. I look forward to it. Thanks so much, Bikshita. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mitul.